So, folks, we're back at it again with another call from the Transatlantic Call-In Show. It's a show that I've been co-hosting now for months, and you should go check it out. There are lots of different calls. I've been on several different episodes now. I co-host. I'm trying to co-host every other week, so you can check that out. But the show itself is on every week on Thursday. So go check it out. And guess what? The show, the Transatlantic Call-In Show, is on The Line. And if you don't know what that is, there's a link down in the description to The Line. It has a lot of different shows on it. Has a lot of different great content creators, some of whom you may be familiar with, others of whom you may not be. Go check it out. There's also a link down there to the Patreon and the merch store. A lot of really cool stuff. This particular episode was with Josie Caballero. Go check it out. Josie's also running for office, so go check out Josie and support her candidacy. And of course, also, folks, if you don't know what the Transatlantic Call-In Show is, it is a show where people can call in, oddly enough, and ask any question they want about transness, whether it's for advice or they want to have a spicy debate or they have just a genuine question they've always wanted to know, or if they've been getting some conflicting information and they don't really know what to believe. We're here to help you out. So call in and let us know what's on your mind. It's a great show. I have enjoyed every single episode I've been on, and we get a very wide variety of different calls. So, of course, also like, comment, and subscribe here. But also, if you want to check out the full episode, there's a link down in the description to that too. So, like, comment, subscribe here, and like, comment, and subscribe over there. It's a win-win. Go do the things. And you can watch live again every Thursday. Go check that out. And I hope you enjoy this back and forth and this call.
We are going to take in Mika, she, her, from Michigan, and wants to talk about the possibility too many people get bottom surgery and wants to demystify it. So, yes, talk to us. You are live on the line with Josie and Jack.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So tell us about it.
I'm calling in because it just seems like there's too many, statistically, I don't want to say it should be medically necessary, but it's shocking the amount it feels like.
Okay. When you say statistically, what do you mean? What are you referring to?
So, it's 2 out of 100,000 teenagers. I forget the one for adults. Because that's even crazier getting it that young. I'm thinking specifically vaginoplasty or phalloplasty, but that too, probably. But it's 2 out of 100,000 teens. It was a statistic by Harvard.
Sure.
And
it is very rare.
If you just put that the whole country wide, that it came out to something like 178, 17 to 18-year-olds would get vaginoplasty or phalloplasty, basically.
Over the course of many years, which is about right. There's just not that many.
Too much.
Well, I mean, I understand where you're coming at it with this, and the reality is it's still a very rare thing that it happens. And honestly, I believe that it's probably way less. I probably think it's not even 100 yet. in my humble opinion. It's pretty low. Most of the surgical care that happens for trans kids are top surgery related. Most doctors don't want to perform surgery on a minor because they're still growing into their bodies. So it's always a little different in a lot of cases. But I would be shocked if in this country there was 170 something kids that or minors that received bottom surgery. Maybe globally I could believe that number, maybe, and I'm just talking about the entire existence of all the times this has been done.
I just it's like 385 mil or 485 million in the U.S. Um, and then 2% of that is the 17-year-old to 18-year-old range for the United States. And out of 100,000 of those, 2 of them are statistically likely to get like bottom surgery.
Well, so I'm
And that's
aware of the stat that you're talking about, and the stat isn't related to bottom surgery specifically. It's related to
is it
gender
not?
affirming surgery. So includes like top surgery, and I'm not aware of any stat about bottom surgery on trans youth. Um, but I can tell you that the overwhelming majority of trans affirming, gender affirming surgery is performed on the cohort, which is 15 to 17 year olds, is top surgery. So whether it is chest reduction or implants, something like that. And it is worth pointing out that I had cis girls in my school who got top surgery because they had large breasts and they wanted smaller breasts because it was causing them physical discomfort. And like that's something that happens with cis and trans kids for a wide variety of different medical reasons. But the 2 per 100,000 rate, that is almost entirely, and I might even say entirely, uh, top surgery. It's
Yeah,
not bottom
because
surgery.
which makes sense, right? Because there's only like 500 like accounts of gender affirming surgery on minors over the course of like the last 7 years or something like that. So it's still very uncommon, and that's because it's informed by medical doctors and clinicians, and that's usually how it goes. And believe me, there would be a lot more Chloe Coles in the world if it was any different. I mean, like Chloe Cole makes about $200,000 a year trotting around that she was, had her breast removed before any other gender affirming care. And yes, yeah, I mean that's weird. Nobody in their right minds usually do that type of thing. It was a doctor that was specifically sought out for
And
that type of stuff.
And I'm also just going to throw out there that the overwhelming majority of gender affirming top surgeries performed in America, like 97% on teens, are for cisgender men who want or boys who have gynecomastia and want to reduce their chest size.
Yeah.
98% was that?
About
What did you
97%.
say?
97%. 97% of gender affirming
97.
care happens to cis boys because of gynecomastia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find I'm taking your word for the
I'll
data
link it
for
in
the
chat.
combined top surgery and bottom surgery. Because I didn't look at it probably as much as you did, if you know it
Yeah,
like off the
Yeah.
top.
yeah, I linked it in
Um,
the YouTube chat. You can take a look at it.
um, so with that, um, I think it's where I'm leaning, where it feels like it should be a medically necessary surgery with like even the small regret rate that it has.
It is medically necessary.
Um,
Yeah, you
why
can't just
that's why
bottom
walk
it's
into
surgery
the.
happening.
is. I mean, like
Yeah,
it can be, but I think it should have to be. Like
it
I'm
is.
leaning
It
towards
it
that.
it
It
it, it
literally
is.
is.
You can't
Like
just
this.
walk
It
into the
literally is.
clinic and get one. Yeah.
Yes, it's
Well,
that's
no,
the
I
only
I
reason
thought it was
that doctors are prescribing this. It's prescribed gender affirming care. That's how this works. Unless it's like some like rock star that just wants to do something for the memes, but I don't think that's happening either. Like, it's
Specifically,
like
the study being referenced from the Journal of the American Medical Association, that data was sourced from insured patients, which means those had to have been deemed medically necessary
oh, that's
in
fair
order to
too.
get the
Yeah.
claim.
Yeah.
Excellent
Did
point.
you hear that? So
say
the
that again.
data so the data that was used in that study was done by insurance companies, meaning that insurance companies only give coverage to people who are deemed medically necessary. So everybody in this study was purely medically necessary. Nothing was cosmetic.
Huh.
Yeah. And Mika, I just want to say this too, right? Like it's in the trans community's best interest that we do our best to make sure the people who receive this surgery need it. Because we don't want Chloe Coles walking around saying what they say on the freaking national media. We want people to get the healthcare that they need. It serves us no purpose to start giving people gender affirming care when it's not necessary. Because then you'd have a higher regret rate, which would make it harder for us to exist. It's in our best interest to make sure we keep regret rate the where it is. And that's why the clinical care that we are doing is working. It's actually it's actually better than any other medical thing that we do in the world. Right? People regret everything at a almost 20% rate in most cases. But yet trans surgical care and gender affirming care is in the 1 percentile.
I mean, with the fact that it is deemed medically necessary for those cases, I don't think I have any, because I believe those were also cosmetic ones, or it was done cosmetically, or could be done cosmetically.
There's no
Besides
bottom
that, I
surgery
guess
that is happening
it's fine.
cosmetically, Mika. I mean, there's no bottom surgery that's happening cosmetically. Like the idea, unless they're getting like labia things or something like that, or like, whatever penis extension type stuff, maybe like for cis men. But outside of that, like, this is all trans related healthcare that is medically necessary. Cis people are more likely
I
to get genital cosmetic surgery than trans people are.
I'd say what is medically necessary.
What
To
is
alleviate,
considered necessary by
yeah,
your doctors and
yeah,
insurance
to
company.
alleviate gender dysphoria. That's what's medically necessary because you have stress and discomfort from your gender dysphoria. And the only way that we know to alleviate gender dysphoria that clinically works is gender affirming care. And sometimes that means surgery.
But people are given gender affirming care that don't have dysphoria. No?
Not necessarily. I mean, the
Not
people there are people who don't have a clinical diagnosis that maybe be getting hormones and stuff like that, but like outside of that, they're not going under the knife because insurance won't cover it unless you're incredibly wealthy and they're just like, I just want to pay money to do this without the insurance, then sure. But I mean, if somebody's got $250,000 to burn, then more power to them.
And it's worth noting also that most doctors aren't going to operate outside those guidelines just because like they have a professional duty to act in the best interest of the patient, you know? And when we're
I
talking
don't
about
think they
bottom
want to lose their
surgery,
license.
yeah, and when we're talking
Yeah,
about bottom
exactly.
surgery, it's a really big deal.
It is a big
So
deal.
they're only really going to operate if they believe it is in the patient's best interest.
Yeah, even like surgeons like my surgeon that I had didn't accept insurance. So, but guess what? Guess what she needed? She needed two psychological psychiatrists to say that this was okay to do. Even her, and she was doing it for profit, like for without that. Now the hospital was covered by the insurance, thank goodness, or I would have been able to afford it. But that's how that works. So even in cases where doctors don't even accept insurance, they still require the psychiatric care to cover them from malpractice lawsuits, because they understand that this is a very contentious issue and that a judge is more likely to plead with the plaintiff on the regret than the surgeon that said they told me they wanted this. And without the medical necessity backing, the doctor could lose.
And again, insurance companies are heavily incentivized to not cover care that they deem unnecessary.
Right.
The study that you are referencing is specifically pulling from insured patients who had it covered.
So
So
Mika, why do you believe that this stuff is unnecessary?
Why do I believe? Well, I thought that it could be done like as a cosmetic surgery.
But what led you to
Um,
believe that is my question.
because it feels like it would be within the same thing where we have let or people are able to get on other gender affirming care without medically necessary reasons.
It's not necessarily the same thing, because once you go under the knife, like there's a lot of doctors involved, a lot of doctors. You have anesthesiologists, you have urethra, like I forget what kind of surgeon doctor that is. You have the surgeon themselves, you have the entire care team, you have a general provider. There are so many gates you have to go through that are beyond plastics, right? Plastics, which is the word of that plastic surgeons use, don't just say sign off, I'm going to do this, without the entire medical team that's involved as well. Like this isn't like, now if you want boobs, like you don't, yeah, that's informed consent, who cares? But when you're talking about bottom surgery, there is so much medical teams that are involved and so many doctors that have to check that off before that even happens.
and I would just add that when it comes to kids and surgical intervention, it is also you have a lot of hurdles to jump through there as well with multiple doctors signing off on any kind of intervention like that.
Yeah. Does that make more sense now?
I understand that it's like a rigorous process. Um,
But you still believe that
mhm.
people can do this unnecessarily
I mean, I think people would want
without
to
deeming it.
do it
Yeah.
unnecessarily.
But that's not really happening though, is it?
I mean, I think they might not pass the like rigorous standards to get bottom surgery.
So
How it sounds.
Mika, let me give you this example. If somebody is writhing in pain, or pretend, let's say this is a pretender, they're writhing in pain and they're screaming, they won't stop screaming, their like blood pressure is high, they're red in the face, and they're just screaming, oh, it hurts my stomach, it hurts so bad, it's just, and they're like screaming, they're like, all these things. Do you know that sometimes a doctor has to make the decision of like, we need to cut this person open, figure out what the hell's wrong with them, and they could do that on a lie.
Well,
So
I
do you do
think that's
you do you bel
fine. If someone, I'm not saying someone's like faking being
well, that's essentially
it
what you're
being
saying,
medically
right?
necessary. That's not what I'm
Well,
saying. I'm
well,
saying
it
that
sounds okay. Go ahead. I'm
if
sorry. I'm not letting you
someone
finish.
wants to and it's not medically necessary,
But
but it
that's
seems like they won't be able to get bottom surgery if it's
no.
not medically
Not
necessary?
really, unless they are some wealthy human being that can pay for all of this out of pocket and have a bunch of doctors sign off of it because they're freaking wealthy as shit. Then I don't see it happening. Like you can go to Bangkok and pay $250,000 or whatever they do. I guess they can do it. It doesn't matter. Like if I that could be something they could do, But like at the end of the day, it's like it's a lot of it is based on insurance and a lot of it's based on medical necessity because guess what? There's a ton of people in line in front of you. People who
I,
need the surgery and are waiting in line, and they're
I
not going to
just
give somebody surgery if they don't need it.
I'm still confused why you think this. Like what led you to this conclusion? Because you're defending it and you're kind of sticking by it despite being presented with a lot of points to the contrary. And I'm wondering what has you sticking to this idea so closely.
But I don't think it's done when it's not medically necessary. And I find that it's fine if it's only done medically necessary. That's what I'm leaning towards, at least. But what's I just thought it wasn't just like you could get it cosmetically, and if that's not the case, then it's fine.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's not the case. It's just not the case. Like
Yeah.
like top surgery, sure, that can be the case. Like that's done. Because could you imagine if like every boob job of all these women that want boob jobs had to be medically necessary, even though I think they should be covered in that way. Because it's like whatever, if somebody wants bigger boobies, can great. But like the idea of like the rigor that is needed for a bottom surgery, you have to jump through a ton of hoops. And like I said, like would you be upset if some multi-millionaire was like, I want a vagina and I don't want to go through the medical process to say that I do, but I'm gonna pay all this money. I'm gonna just throw all the money at you and just do what I want. Are you against that person doing that?
Um, I mean, I don't think they should, but they could.
Exactly, because millionaires are superheroes in our society and they can do whatever the fuck they want. Like, it's
Yeah, I
just
agree.
and so what we're talking about here are people who are just trying to live their lives, right? We're not talking about the
No,
one-off
I'm
case of
I'm
the
fine with
person that can
that.
pay. Yeah, then we're not talking about the one-off case of the person that can just throw money at it and just get what they want, right? Like it's like,
Okay,
okay, yeah,
I
yeah, okay,
I
then I
had
guess we
some
agree.
misconceptions about if it was cosmetic or only medically necessary. If it's medically necessary, I find that
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just how it goes. Awesome. All right, Mika. Well, thank you so much for the call. Hope you have a great rest of
Yep,
your day.
thank you. You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.
I don't know how that call is like, I don't know where that was going. Anyways. So
That was
Jack, do
full
you
of
want
twists
us?
and turns.
It was.
Well, that was a wonderful call. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And if you did, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, if you will. And also consider doing that over on the line as well to support the Transatlantic Call-In Show. And yeah, it's a good time. Also, check the links down below because you can get links to the line, the episode, the Patreon, the merch store. There's a lot of cool stuff over there, and constantly being updated and added to all the time. So do check it all out. And yeah, also if you're in oh god, I stopped at the weirdest. I stumbled over my words at the weirdest possible time and said urine. God, I don't think there's any way to salvage the end of this. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.